All right. Hi, good morning. Thank you for joining us. My name is Joanna Nelson, and I'm with the Economic Development Department here. And we are joined by our great panelists today. We've got Julia Wise with NMSBA and Jennifer Sensabaugh with MEP. And they are going to be talking about their programs today. So we're really excited. They're wonderful partners, and we love working with them. We are able to collaborate on a lot of projects together, so we're really thrilled to be able to help them promote their programs and get the information out today to you. So a little bit of information before we get started. This webinar is being recorded, so if you have to jump off of the discussion, feel free to do so. We'll post it on our YouTube channel as well. You can access that channel and you can see all of the previous webinars that we've done. Usually we try to focus on financing topics, business technical assistance programs, and it's really, we've accumulated quite a bit of really good informative webinars that are available, so check that out. We also are going to send out the webinar presentation to you in PDF form, so you'll have all of these links that we're sharing with you in the contact information. So we do these webinars the last Thursday of the month. So keep your eye open for upcoming webinars. And I did want to do a little bit of background information about our department and what we do. I'm on the finance team, so we get involved with anything that has to do with money. Regarding a community is looking for money, they're looking for some type of public financing assistance, or a business is looking for financial assistance. So they can contact us at the state. We operate oftentimes as a connector. So we have a lot of relationships around the state, a lot of resources, and we will connect that entity, that person, that business to relevant financing sources. So feel free to reach out to us anytime. We manage a couple of programs, and those are listed on the left-hand screen. We manage the Local Economic Development Act, Fund It Community, Fund It Small Business, New Markets Tax Credits. We actually partner with New Mexico Finance Authority on that program. And then our New Mexico Collateral Assistance Program, the Rural Efficient Business Program, and then the newly minted Opportunity Zones Program. So if you have questions on these, please feel free to reach out to us, and we'll get you more information about this. And I think we've done a webinar on every one of these, so you can access that information. Fund It Community, this is relevant when we're talking about funding sources. This is a group that can help brainstorm and connect communities to funding programs if you have an economic development project or you have an infrastructure project. So this might be relevant if there's the big manufacturing company that wants to move and locate in your community, and we need to all brainstorm and figure out how to leverage funding resources and funding sources. We could talk about that at Fund It. So the application is very, very simple. It's, I think, 2 pages, and you're just giving project overview. We process that, get that submitted, and then the community can present at the meeting. And then there you'll have all of the funders in one place, and they're able to help guide, help connect you, help give you feedback, offer experience, so you can be as knowledgeable as possible about where to go, where to collaborate and leverage funding sources. And we just expanded Fund It to encompass small businesses. So this is the same mission as Fund It Community, as how can we connect projects, people, and resources in the commercial realm. So we are doing that in a variety of ways. We're doing finance fairs. We had our last one in Taos and invited NMSBA and MEP there, as well as lenders. So at those events, if there's a business that's looking to connect to money, they want to get a small business loan, they can attend these events and connect with, I think we had 25 different resources and lenders there in one place, so that's really helpful. And our next one is going to be in Albuquerque, I think at the beginning of November, so stay tuned with that. But the really exciting part of this program is that if there is a business that is looking for funding, let's say it's a restaurant and they're looking for a loan to buy a walk-in cooler, they can fill out our application online, and we'll summarize that project. We'll review it and make sure that it's somewhat feasible and viable, but we'll summarize that, put that into a quick blurb, and then we'll send that out to our list of lenders and resource providers around the state. So that business is going to get contacted, hopefully, by lenders. If it was a manufacturer, a technology-based business, maybe MEP or NMSBA would find it a fit. So they would reach out to the company and say, let us help you. Here's our resources. So we're very excited about that. Please, when we send out the PowerPoint to you, access these links, check it out. If you know businesses that are looking for funding or resources, point them to these sites. We also have the New Mexico resource map. This is available on our website, and this is further elaborating on how can we better connect communities and businesses to resources. So this is more economic development, community development, infrastructure project oriented, but you can go down the list of components or categories, I guess you would say, of your funding needs. So if you have a housing need, infrastructure, planning, transportation, water, business development, you can click through and filter through the relevant financing sources that are available. So this example, if you can see it, community development, and you are a rural community, and then here's a community facility loan available to you. So this is pretty helpful. So feel free to use this if you're questioning, where do I go to find money for my project? And without further delay, I know everyone has heard that spiel if you have logged into our previous webinars. So sorry about that, but we've got to get that information out.
Oh, thank you.
But I want to introduce Julia Wise, Dr. Julia Wise, and take it away, Julia.
Thank you. So good morning, my name is Julia, and I am here to talk about the New Mexico Small Business Assistance Program. Please, when you receive this as a PowerPoint, when we email it out, check out our website, nmsbaprogram.org. It will be able to answer most of your questions, but we are also here as well. And so the first question that we often get is, what is the New Mexico Small Business Assistance Program, or NMSBA? And what it is a program that provides access to laboratory and university expertise, as well as expertise and capability from some select service providers at no cost to the small business. So we're here to help you solve your technical challenges. And so, for example, this gentleman here on our screen works with Wicked Edge, and he used NMSBA to work with the Manufacturing Extension Partnership that you're going to learn more about later, to implement lean manufacturing methodology and tools. And as a result, he was able to reduce his lead times by 90%. They bolstered and retained sales. They almost eliminated back orders, and they launched a new product line. So this NMSBA project that provided access to the Manufacturing Extension Partnership, again, for free to the business, resulted in 50% in increased revenue, and honestly kind of cheered up the staff. It increased staff morale as well. So really, we're here to enable New Mexico small businesses to access cutting-edge technologies through our national labs and universities, increase your technical sophistication and capabilities. We can be a crash course in a new technology for you, a new way to try something. It's a great way to pilot, validate, and explore ideas. And we share knowledge and resources between laboratory personnel and small businesses to address small business issues. And honestly, it's great for our laboratory staff because it really encourages them to think in a way that they don't on the day-to-day basis. So it brings their science into the real world as well. All right, so how did we wind up with this? So this is a New Mexico only program. You do not get this program if you're in Colorado, Arizona, Texas, Utah, Nevada, etc. This program is made possible by a state tax credit, the Small Business Tax Credit Act, the Laboratory Partnership with Small Business Tax Credit, in 2000, and it was expanded in 2007. And so each laboratory receives a $2.4 million tax credit that they are eligible to claim if we provide assistance to small businesses. We do not claim this tax credit if we do not serve small businesses. And each small business each year is eligible for $20,000 of technical assistance if you're in Bernalillo and Santa Fe County, because those are our urban counties in the state, and $40,000 if you're in a rural county, which is every other county except for Bernalillo and Santa Fe. So that's time. This program does not exchange cash or goods. So essentially, you're renting a scientist's time with this. And so just a couple things to keep in mind. Since 2000, we've worked with 2,931 businesses. There's been a net 785 jobs created. We've done projects across the state. It's not just for small tech companies in Bernalillo. We work with people across all of New Mexico's counties. And honestly, last year, companies that completed NMSBA projects, together they received over $18 million in new funding and financing. They then in turn invested $8 million in New Mexico's goods and services. They were able to increase their revenue by a total of over $52 million, and there was over 995 jobs created by our participating companies. So, we like assisting the companies, but really it's the companies that take this knowledge and run with it and apply it and use it. So how are you an eligible company to work with this? Well, you have to be located in New Mexico. You don't have to be incorporated here, but you do have to be here. You must be a small business per U.S. Small Business Administration guidelines. We ask all companies to self-certify this. And you must be a for-profit business. Unfortunately, this is not a program for a nonprofit. You do need to have a New Mexico CRS number, a tax ID number. You have to either file taxes in New Mexico. I know a lot of the companies we work with are pre-revenue. You don't actually have to be paying taxes, but you do have to file them. Or you can be an exempt rancher or farmer. So, and we work with companies, as long as you're a U.S. Small Business Administration small business, we'll work with you. So there's no company too small. We get that question a fair amount. It's just me. Come on down. We'll lend you someone's time. You'll make some great strides. It'll be great. But there are some restrictions. This is not investment. This is technical assistance. So it's kind of similar to accessing a consultant to help you with something. So we do not provide cash or equipment to the small business. The service requested must not be available through private industry at a reasonable cost. So we do receive requests to help you build out websites. Unfortunately, that's not something we're able to do because there are a number of wonderful businesses here in New Mexico who can help you with that. And as a federal research institution, we cannot compete with that, and nor would you want us to. And all work must begin and end within the same calendar year. So if you put in a request for assistance, and we'll get to that in just a second, in October, that means that all your work must be done for that calendar year by December, by the end of December. You could come back in for another assistance in January, but all project timelines are for this one calendar year. And no intellectual property can be created. So no IP. We do not create it, we do not design it, and we do not reduce it to practice. And that's actually for protection of the small business because otherwise, the intellectual property does sit with the national labs, and the small business has to get it back, and no one wants that. We are here to support you as a small business, so we just don't create intellectual property through this program. So there are a couple of different ways, a couple of different project structures. And we'll get to how you put in a project, but know that project requests or requests for assistance are accepted at any time through our online website that's back on that front page, nmsbaprogram.org. And individual projects are non-competitive. So this is a project that is for a single New Mexico for-profit small business. So if you have a technical challenge, you'd put in a request for an individual project. They address the challenges specific to the business. They're non-competitive, so if we can help you, if you're eligible, we will. Requests are accepted on a rolling basis, so it's not one deadline. You wake up tomorrow morning at 3 a.m. and think, oh man, I really need to solve this problem. You can log on and put in a request. The form is one page, very simple. You do need to know your business's name and your address, and you're pretty much off to the races. All the work must be completed in the calendar year, and for these individual projects, you get up to $40,000 of laboratory staff time. Bernalillo and Santa Fe are $20,000. And so, for example, we've got two gentlemen here who work with a company called Rhino Health. They make synthetic nitrile gloves in New Mexico. They were interested in opening a manufacturing facility up near Gallup in Church Rock, but they had some questions about the water usage. And so they did an individual NMSBA project. They were paired with scientists from Sandia National Lab, and these scientists helped them understand their factory wastewater discharge options and help them come up and determine some methods to reduce water consumption by 22 to 30%. So basically, they're able to make more gloves per gallon of water now. And this allowed them to really lean in and establish in New Mexico. They've installed over $5 million of new production equipment. I believe they've opened their manufacturing facility, and they're estimating up to 350 new jobs. So we were able to step in really early, provide some of that technical expertise about how do I save water in this process, and help them get going. And I know they partnered with the state and manufacturing extension partnership. So they're an example of a company that's really accessed a lot of the resources New Mexico has successfully. So we have individual projects. We also have individual projects, contract projects. So you can work with both national laboratories, Sandia and Los Alamos, or you can contract with some of our other wonderful brain trusts here in New Mexico. So we have the New Mexico Manufacturing Extension Partnership that you'll hear more about from Jen in a few minutes. We have the UNM Management of Technology program to help you understand some of the business side, the commercialization for certain pieces of technology. New Mexico State University Arrowhead Center, they are excellent. They do support some of our food producers. And New Mexico Tech, who are also, well, excellent engineers as well as very good at the business side. And so similar to the individual projects we just saw, the entry form is still, the request for assistance form is still on our website. Again, these are for single New Mexico for-profit businesses. They're non-competitive, and requests for assistance are accepted on a rolling basis. And all work must be completed in the calendar year. And again, the same funding amounts remain true. You can receive up to $40,000 of laboratory staff time. And so, for example, here we have NTX Bio. And so they facilitate the rapid production of critical vaccines. They have a very unique platform to do this. And they're able to do it with much higher purity, with significantly less waste, and faster than just about anyone else on the market. They're also less expensive. And so they're located here in New Mexico in Santa Fe. And they worked with UNM on a couple of tasks. You know, they have the science really well figured out, but they were looking for a little more business support. So they were able to use UNM to complete an expeditionary marketing study to assess the value and pricing and determine the rate of adoption of this technology. And they also collaborated with UNM to choose the best markets to compete in, determine the customer focus, and select which part of the industry value chain to compete in. And so in part because of this work that they were able to access, again, no cost to the small business through one of our contractors, through one of NMSBA's contractors, they have recently raised $2.5 million. They're hiring 4 employees, and they were recognized by Pharmatech Outlook as one of the top 10 drug discovery development solution providers for 2018. So again, they came in, they figured out what their challenge was, that they needed a little more commercialization or business support, and were able to use NMSBA to access the brain power at the UNM Management of Technology program to get this done. So you're able to pull in these resources, essentially get these really high caliber consultants at no cost. We do have one final version of a project, and this is a leverage project, and this is for multiple small businesses who share technical challenges to come together and pool their funding for up to $120,000 worth of technical assistance. So it's for businesses who may be struggling, who maybe share part of a supply chain or are all in the same realm and may be struggling with a larger technical challenge that frankly may take more than $20,000 of time to solve. And so this leverage project, these multiple businesses can come together and apply for a competitive leverage project. It's a two-phase application. There's a paper proposal, and if your paper proposal passes muster, then you are invited to give a presentation to the New Mexico Small Business Assistance Council for review. There are two application calls per year. One is currently open. We have one in August, and then we will have another in January. So again, I encourage you to look at nmsbaprogram.org to learn more about these. But it allows these companies to come together and just get more time, do a deeper dive. And up here we've got a gentleman who worked with a rope rescue leverage project. And so there are a number of companies in New Mexico who work in the essentially rescue industry, and they wanted to use a lighter rope. And so they were able to work, this group of companies, I believe there were 5 of them, were able to work with Sandia National Lab to test if you could use a thinner, lighter rope so that when folks get lost up in the Sandias and the rescuers have to come out, they don't have to carry hundreds of pounds of rope. They can get away with carrying 50 pounds of rope. And so Sandia was able to, using a drop tower that, again, wouldn't have been available to them on the private sector, was able to test the strength of the rope and really provide some parameters to help these companies start to sell this lighter, more efficient rope and improve rescue methodologies. So it's really, we work with companies across the spectrum as long as you have a technical challenge that you want to put some brain power for. So just to wrap it up, what does the process itself look like? We received a request from the small business. Again, that's a one-page form on the nmsbaprogram.org website. Once that's received, you'll be contacted by a project manager for an intake interview. During this interview, the project manager works to understand what the challenge is, but we also discuss the eligibility, ensuring that the company is in fact a New Mexico small business that files taxes in the state. And we also do a little bit of a review to make sure that this isn't truly available on the private sector. And we work to understand the risks of any intellectual property, making sure that it's the right project for this program. From there, the project manager, and the project managers are at both Sandia and Los Alamos Lab, but we really work to pair people based on need, not based on location or laboratory. We will start to find a principal investigator, and that's the researcher, that's the expert who will help you. We call that the PI. From there, there's a conference call with you, the company, the project manager, and that principal investigator to develop a statement of work, to outline what tasks will be done within this calendar year. I just turned off the webcam. And then the small business will be asked to, the small business will be asked to sign our take it or leave it agreement. And that allows us to set everything up internally to get the ball rolling, to actually pay the people to do the work. Upon completion of the project, the small business will receive a final report. Again, there's no cash or goods exchange. So what we're really dealing with is knowledge, best practices, implementation, and you'll be asked to sign a certificate of services rendered statement. This simply states work was done. It doesn't state whether or not the small business was happy or sad about it, but here we are.
1 second. I think we're gonna stop the webcam, and then hopefully the connection was a little slow. So apologies about that. Sorry to interrupt.
No,
Julia.
it's fine. And then the small business we do request that you complete a customer satisfaction survey. That's for giving of praise, airing of grievances, and complete some economic impact surveys, because that helps us know how the program's being used and the benefit.
One second, let's just make sure. Can everyone hear us? If you can hear us, do you mind, can someone type in the chat that you can hear the audio? Okay, we're connected now. So sorry about that. Again, our network connection has been reestablished. So let me pull this up. Sorry for this technical difficulty, and we can see that you can hear us. All right. Apologies about that.
No worries. I don't know if there's time for questions.
Yes.
But that pretty much.
Here, go for it.
Super funky. Sorry, we're having some technical issues. We can do an NMSBA project to fix it. But if you have any questions, my contact information is up here, as is my coworker, Kim Sherwood, as well as the contact information for the gentleman at Sandia National Laboratories who runs this. Again, it's a joint program brought to you through Los Alamos and Sandia National Laboratory that allows you to access technical expertise from Los Alamos, Sandia, UNM, New Mexico Tech, New Mexico State, and the Manufacturing Extension Partnership. So I'm happy to take any questions. If you don't have any pressing, but something comes up, please email me or leave me a voicemail. This is my contact information right here. You can also check out our website.
Thank you, Julia. And you can ask questions now or at the end of the presentation. So feel free as we go along to type your questions in. So now we will have Jennifer Sensabaugh from Manufacturing Extension Partnership.
Good morning, all. Thank you so much. As has been discussed, New Mexico MEP is the New Mexico Manufacturing Extension Partnership. We are a nonprofit organization that serves companies statewide throughout the state of New Mexico. We are what's called a public-private partnership with the U.S. Department of Commerce, the National Institutes of Standards and Technology, and then we have several partners here in the state, and I'm very honored to be sitting here with two of them today, both Julia from the NMSBA and Joanna from New Mexico Economic Development Department. So what MEP is all about, our main mission is to grow manufacturing in the state of New Mexico, you know, the definition of manufacturing per the Department of Commerce is actually a little bit different than probably what pops into your head the first time. Most of us think about big industry, large factories, smokestacks, that type of stuff. We're really focused on the manufacturing that best benefits New Mexico, and that starts all the way at the beginnings of the research and development process of any new products. And so we really start there. As Julia said, we work with companies that are onesies and twosies as well, all the way up to the couple hundreds that are working on large equipment to process large equipment and ship it outside of our state. So anything that kind of runs that gamut, from research and development to testing, folks that do testing, through any conversion of raw materials into an actual manufactured product, into actually the packaging and some of the logistics on the back end there to get that to the end customer. We do have a team. We have somebody located in Farmington, New Mexico, kind of covering that northwest quadrant. We have a gentleman located in Las Cruces, New Mexico, working with companies in southern New Mexico. And we partner with Julia at Los Alamos Labs, and then we also have a handful of staff located in Albuquerque that we disperse throughout all the other parts of the state as needed. Our staff typically has a very in-depth manufacturing background as well as engineering background, and they're available to assist manufacturers overcome any barrier to growth that they may have. So we have specific expertise in helping with process optimization, in looking at product development, and specifically how you make a new product best suitable for manufacturing going forward, so that you can actually afford to manufacture it once it's developed. We look at scale-up processes. So how do you go from that onesie twosies to hiring your first 1 or 2 or 3, 4 employees, and how do you scale up that process efficiently? We have in-depth knowledge in the lean methodologies. As I stated, we're partnered with the National Institutes of Standards and Technology, and they have come out with several different workforce trainings as well as process and methodologies that we're trained in and work to deploy as well. So we do have hands-on training that actually has manufacturing simulations built into it, so you can see firsthand how the tools and techniques apply in a simulated manufacturing environment and how that might look in your environment. And then we're able to actually work with you in your environment to change your processes as you go along as well. As Julia had mentioned, there are several of the products that we offer, the services that we offer, fall under the NMSBA purview, and so you can actually use your NMSBA funds towards getting some of that work done as well. We do additional work in the areas of quality, ISO, some of that stuff that we're happy to partner with the state on. Economic development actually will cover some of, through some of their programs, the cost of some of those programs as well. So a lot of what we offer is available to you at no cost or a very, very low cost, depending on what program we're working with. We are also here to expand awareness about manufacturing and create an awareness about the manufacturing communities and ecosystems that exist. And so for that, we are very happy that we proclaim October to be New Mexico Manufacturing Month. This is about the 5th or 6th year going on. And we usually have about 50 plus manufacturers participate in events or open their doors to tours to the public and to students. We really want students to understand that there is a great career to be had in the manufacturing industry. In previous years, we've had over 1,000 students attend our tours. About 600 to 800 of public attends our tours. And then we kind of culminate all that on October 30th with our Advanced Manufacturing Summit held at the Sandia Event Center in Albuquerque. So I encourage you just to look at our website, newmexicomep.org, and you'll see a tag over there for Manufacturing Month. And as the events start to come up, they'll start getting populated here in September as companies come online with their tours. I really encourage you to get out there and see what's made here in New Mexico by New Mexicans. And it's a really fun activity and event. As I mentioned, we are very lucky to collaborate and have partners throughout the whole state. We've talked a lot today about NMSBA. We can work with companies. We're very familiar. We've had the enjoyment of being partners with the program for almost 20 years now. And so we can help to guide you to the right contacts as well, to help you understand the different ways in which you can use that funding and work. We really can work hand in hand with the laboratories to figure out how best to get you assistance if it's needed. We also, as I mentioned, work in New Mexico Economic Development Department on several projects, but right now we have one going on with our ISO training, which is the International Standards Quality Training. And then we have worked with the New Mexico Department of Workforce Solutions to look at how we can enhance apprenticeship in the state around creating an advanced manufacturing workforce. So just some examples there. As Julia stated too, Department of Commerce, the state, all want to see a return on investment in the services that we provide. And so Department of Commerce actually surveys all of any company that New Mexico MEP works with. And typically when a company works with us, we see an increase in sales, an increase in new sales or an increase in retained sales. They will create or retain some jobs. They realize immediate cost savings. So we're usually able to pull some cost savings directly out of the process at some point, and then turn around and invest that into their own growth. And so those are the impacts you're seeing here today. So wrapping up there is just how can we help you? I think there's a lot of great resources in this state. There's a lot that we can do to support and help you uncover some of them. Sometimes we have hidden gems in the state of New Mexico, and we can, this group that's here this morning can really help to navigate those waters and find the way. So I would just encourage everyone listening to, if you have an issue, bring it up, and we will do our best to find the right answer. And with that, I will open for questions and head over to Joanna.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks, Jennifer. Thanks, Julia. Type in your questions in the questions box, and I see that we've got a few. So let me pull this out and get to your questions. This is your opportunity to ask the experts. So the first question is, can leveraged NMSBA projects be used to fund MEP type of activities?
So unfortunately, in this case, leverage projects are specifically for Los Alamos and Sandia National Labs, but I think it would be worth a conversation with perhaps myself and someone from MEP to talk about what you need. You might not actually need a leverage project to get your needs met.
Or we might be able to figure out how to kind of put it together in a way that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I would encourage to put the application in.
Yeah. And I have...
Or give us a call. Yeah.
Hi, I'm one of your project managers. I know you.
Yeah. Jorge.
Yeah.
Great. So, Jen, I had a question. For the upcoming manufacturing month, is there a way, what's the best way for them to stay up to date with all the activities? Is there a newsletter they should sign up for, or on your Facebook, or?
All of the above. So we will have, we do have a newsletter. And, my email is up there. If you want to be included on our newsletter, just shoot us an email and we'll get that information. We'll get you logged into our monthly newsletter that goes out, and we have blasts that come out about the various information. We do post everything to Facebook and to our website, and we're managing it all through Eventbrite, so you can RSVP for the different tours that you want to go on. But Facebook and social media is probably the best way to get that information as we update it immediately.
Great. Bruce had a question. Does MEP and NMSBA help companies to identify a suitable location for their business? I actually just got an email about this morning. So
that's actually something that I would try to connect them with one of the regional representatives from the Economic Development Department. We have had companies use NMSBA to get specific technical questions answered about their sites. So certain things involving questions of soil or water people have used, but again, NMSBA isn't a certifying agency. We can answer those fundamental questions and provide you some data, but we don't provide any certifications for, you'd have to work with an appropriate engineer, et cetera. But perhaps that's something for economic development, the site selection.
And I think it depends on if you're talking about the actual site. How MEP can be helpful in that situation is in helping somebody understand how much space they truly need. So a lot of times somebody's out there looking for 10,000 square feet because they think that's how much they need. When you do your business plans and you look at your projections and all of that information that you are getting together as you're going to find a location, sometimes you think, well, in 5 years I need to have 10,000 square feet. We can actually help you figure out how to stage that and grow that over time with your revenue so that you don't need as much investment up front. And maybe even make your process a little bit more, there might be some things that we can help you work out that makes your process a little bit more efficient, and therefore you actually need less space or less storage space. We oftentimes are eliminating warehouse and storage space by decreasing lead times and getting to kind of that just-in-time ordering factor. So if that's what you're talking about, that location, then that's something that we might be able to add to the benefit of.
And then along those lines, I mean, we get a lot of questions, obviously, about how do I pay for my project expansion. And of course, that's relevant to the work that you all do if there's equipment that needs to be purchased. And I know we're somewhat limited, but I would assume that them reaching out to you all, it helps identify costs for equipment purchases too. And are they buying the right equipment, sizing, all of that. So that's really helpful.
Yes.
And I know we work together too. If there's a company that does have, maybe they qualify for LEDA on the state side, or some of the other programs, JTIP. If they're hiring people, we can work together on the financing side of that too.
Yeah.
And then I do want to mention our Office of Science and Technology that's here in our department. It's run by Dr. Mariah Tomar, and she works specifically with our science and technology companies. So a lot of times there's overlap with the companies she's working with and the work that's being done with MEP and NMSBA. So she's available to help connect with resources too. She has a couple of financing programs. If a company has an SBIR program or they're in an incubator, there's funding available for that. So reach out to us in that regard too. So let's get to these questions. Hey, we know Joel Salas. He has a question. To what extent does MEP help in creating or developing a lean process? Would you be helping to determine things like EOQs and value stream mapping?
Yes, we would. So we can help with all of that. So we do have some processes for value stream mapping that we can go through, identify, whether that's identifying a current state and what you would want the future state to be, or if it's a new process, kind of that process mapping, that layout, what that might look like, all the way to quality plans, training the workforce to fit into that system. We are able to provide all of that assistance. And so our staff would work one-on-one with you and your company to determine what process would work best for you and what that would look like. We really like to engage. We're not just going to do it and hand you a report. We're engaged face-to-face, one-on-one with the company. You know your process better than anything. We just know process. And so we're taking that and applying that into your business at the pace that makes sense to you. So that is how we can help with that. Great question.
All right.
Okay. And then we have one more question. Is there a way to put out a press release for a new company through NMSBA? And that's from Robert.
All right. Hey, Robert. So a couple of things on this one. Generally, that's available on the private sector. There are a number of talented writers and ways to release press releases. I'm not as well versed in the actual marketing side. That would be someone you may want to find a marketing consultant to work with. Someone can help me out on that. But one thing to keep in mind is that the NMSBA program, just as we don't certify, we don't endorse. And so we will provide the data, and that data belongs to the company, and we can provide language around how this program was used and the data were derived, but that's not the same as an actual endorsement from any of the national laboratories or participating companies. So we're happy to help you out with that language, but the NMSBA program can't be used to cover press releases.
Gotcha. Thank you. Jorge had a question. Can MEP guide a company in establishing a new manufacturing operation?
Yes, as far as the manufacturing process itself goes, as far as getting your permits and your building licenses and all of that. But yes, as far as establishing that, we're working with a couple of companies right now on that very thing, is establishing what that new operation looks like, understanding, like I had mentioned before, understanding how much space they're going to need, what type of space they might need. We have some staff that are even, depending on the area and the location, they're even very knowledgeable in what type of zoning you're going to need and what kind of electricity throughput you're going to need, and making sure that, you ask the question of your realtor or whoever it is that you're looking for space, what that might look like. We've also helped companies kind of figure out what that cost might look like to get started up, so they can really understand, either how much investment they're going to have to go after or put forth, or you know, where their, how long their payback is, and see if that's a feasible situation.
And then Stephen had a question. Are you able to assist small businesses with their cyber certification planning?
So we are connected. NIST, the National Institute of Standards and Technology, is kind of the standards guru, if you will, for cybersecurity. And so we are connected with those folks on cybersecurity, on the latest and what's coming up. In fact, we're going to a conference in about 2 weeks to learn a lot more about it too. We have created some information to help guide you through cyber and what's required of it. We are not a certification house either, much like the laboratory, so but we can help guide you. We have worked closely with the Department of Defense. If you're a Department of Defense supplier, then you know that you have a requirement now to meet certain cyber initiatives. And so we have some spreadsheets, some workbooks, a lot of material available to small businesses. We can walk you through some of that, see where, and we can show you where we've seen the pitfalls are, and you know what you can do on your own, and when you're going to need to hire a third party. That type of stuff we can absolutely help with.
Yeah. All right. Well, it looks like that concludes our questions. Thanks for asking questions. Do you all want to add anything? Any things to keep in mind, or?
Please, if you have other questions, don't hesitate to send either of us an email.
Yeah, that would be my biggest thing, is just to reach out. I think don't hesitate. You know, we'll help you. We'll be honest with what we can and can't do. But then usually we know somebody that can help, or a different way, or a different program that can be of use. So we all work really well together. So yeah. I would just encourage, reach out to someone and we'll get you to the right spot.
Yeah, that's a really great point. And I just want to reiterate too what amazing programs these are. Julia mentioned it, that New Mexico is one of the only states, if not the only state in the country that has a program like NMSBA, and then the unique partnership with the MEP, which is a national program. But this is a reason why companies should move to New Mexico for this unique partnership. So take advantage of it, access the resources. So I did want to bring up a couple of events that are coming up through the Economic Development Department. And Funded Community Meeting is coming up September 24th. That'll actually be at MEP on the 24th. So that could be a really good insight. If you've never been to their office, you could meet Jennifer and the staff there. We're really excited about that. They have a really great office space.
Thank you.
It's really fun. But that's in Albuquerque. Application cutoff is September 13th. You can apply online. The next webinar series that we'll be doing is talking about finding financing for housing development projects. That'll be on Halloween, October 31st, and you can register online. We'll have more details coming on that pretty soon. And I do want to say that any of the events that we're doing here in the department, you can sign up for our email list as well, and you can stay abreast of webinars and events. That's a good way to stay in communication, as well as our Facebook page. And we do have an Opportunity Zones webinar coming up, if that is relevant to you all. This is going to be a really great opportunity for communities to figure out how to take their ideas or their ideas for potential projects and strategize about how to obtain investment, as well as create a prospectus, just kind of work through the process of what do you do now that you are a qualified Opportunity Zone track. And the Governance Project is an organization that's able to offer free technical assistance to communities, and they're going to be the ones doing that webinar. So that's a really great opportunity. You can register online. And I'd want to throw out there, we didn't talk about Opportunity Zones, but oftentimes if there is a company or there's a manufacturer in an Opportunity Zone, that's a really great chance for them to find additional funding. So reach out to us if you have questions about that. And then finally, we are always actively enrolling lenders and projects into our collateral assistance program. Right now, this is probably one of the best products that can help businesses if they're looking at financing to purchase equipment, if they're looking at retrofitting their facility. A lot of the issues that get brought up with NMSBA and MEP, the issues that are identified, this is a really great opportunity for companies to get a leg up when they're trying to get a loan. We can help by assisting with the collateral that's required. So reach out to us if you've got questions. And here is some follow-up connections with the department, our New Mexico Main Street. Julia mentioned the reps. We have regional representatives for the department located in all areas of the state. And you can follow up, figure out who that is. These are the contacts for our team as well as our website. So utilize these resources. Connect with us. We are here to help. And I want to just extend a big thank you again to Julia and Jen for coming. Thanks for your time. Jen came up from Albuquerque. There was a big accident, unfortunately, but she made it on time. Hopefully everybody's being safe out there. But hopefully we'll see you all at the next event, and hopefully we'll see you at MEP month. Yeah, in October. So thank you all. Bye.